The first sign that something was wrong wasn't the argument, or the silence, or even the discovery itself. It was her calm. Everything around us was breaking, loudly, violently, without mercy, and my wife moved through it all like someone walking through light rain. Unbothered. Unrushed. Almost peaceful. I didn't understand it at first. I thought maybe she was stronger than me, more mature, better equipped to handle pressure. I told myself that while my chest felt like it was caving in and my thoughts ran in frantic circles, she was simply built differently. I was wrong. The day everything began to fall apart started like any other. Coffee cooling on the counter. The quiet hum of the refrigerator. Her phone buzzing once on the kitchen table while she was in the shower. I wasn't snooping. I didn't feel suspicious. I just noticed the screen light up, a name I didn't recognize, and a message preview that ended with a heart. I wish I could say my hands didn't shake when I picked up the phone. I wish I could say I respected boundaries, turned away, trusted my marriage. But something inside me already knew. The message wasn't explicit.
It didn't need to be.
It was intimate in a way that only people who shared something secret could be. Familiar.
Comfortable.
A continuation of a conversation that had been going on for a long time. When she came out of the bathroom, towel wrapped around her hair, humming softly, I was still standing there with her phone in my hand. She froze for half a second when she saw it. Just half a second. Most people would miss it. Then her face smoothed out. "What's wrong?" she asked gently, as if I were the one holding a problem. I asked her who he was. She didn't grab the phone.
She didn't panic.
She didn't raise her voice or accuse me of invading her privacy. She just sighed, slowly, like someone who had been expecting this moment for a while.
"We need to talk," she said.
That was the moment the ground cracked beneath my feet. I expected tears, denial, anger, anything that would signal remorse or fear. Instead, she sat across from me at the table, folded her hands, and spoke in a calm, even tone, explaining things the way someone explains a difficult but unavoidable decision. She said it wasn't physical. Not yet. She said she hadn't planned for it to happen. She said she felt lonely, unseen, disconnected. She said all the words people say when they want to soften a betrayal without actually undoing it. I was unraveling. I interrupted her. Asked questions that tumbled out in no order.
How long?
How often? Did you love him? Did you ever plan to tell me? She answered each one calmly.
Precisely.
As if she had rehearsed. While my heart raced and my mouth went dry, she stayed composed. She even reached across the table once, placing her hand near mine. Not touching, just close enough to suggest comfort. "Please don't make this harder than it has to be," she said. That sentence echoed in my head for weeks. Everything fell apart after that. Not all at once.
Slowly.
Like a building collapsing floor by floor while the outside still looked standing. I stopped sleeping. Food lost its taste. I replayed conversations from the past, searching for missed signs, moments when I should have noticed her drifting away. I felt stupid.
Small.
Replaceable. She, on the other hand, stayed calm. When I cried, she handed me tissues and waited patiently for me to finish. When I raised my voice, she asked me to lower it so we could talk productively. When I asked her to stop talking to him, she said she needed time to process her feelings.
Time.
Everything in my life felt urgent, like a fire alarm screaming in my chest. But for her, there was no rush. She went to work as usual. She laughed at her phone. She slept soundly beside me while I stared at the ceiling, wondering how two people could occupy the same bed and live in completely different realities. Friends noticed something was wrong. They asked questions. I gave vague answers. She smiled and said we were working through some things. Her calm made my distress look exaggerated, almost unreasonable. I started to feel like the unstable one. When the truth finally came out, to our families, to our friends, it came out gently, carefully curated by her. A story about emotional distance, mutual misunderstandings, a marriage that had simply lost its way. She never lied outright. She just withheld the parts that would make her look cruel. People told me I needed to be understanding. that relationships are complicated, that she seemed so level-headed, so reasonable. "She's handling this really well," someone said once, not knowing the words landed like a blade. Meanwhile, I was falling apart in private. I grieved the marriage I thought I had. I grieved the version of myself who believed loyalty was automatic, that love was enough to keep someone grounded. I questioned my worth. I questioned my memory. I questioned whether my pain was valid at all. She stayed calm through every stage of destruction. When I suggested counseling, she agreed, but without urgency. When I asked if she wanted to save the marriage, she said she didn't know. When I asked if she loved me, she said she cared deeply.
Deeply.
Our home became a quiet battlefield. No screaming matches. No slammed doors. Just polite conversations, careful wording, and an emotional distance so wide it felt physical. The calm was worse than rage would have been. Rage would have meant guilt.
Fear.
The possibility that she might lose something. Her calm meant she already had. The day I finally broke wasn't dramatic. No big revelation. No explosive argument. I came home early from work and found her sitting on the couch, smiling at her phone. The same soft smile she used to give me. The one that used to make me feel chosen. She looked up and smiled at me, still calm, still composed. In that moment, something inside me went quiet. I realized that while everything in my life had been collapsing, my trust, my identity, my sense of safety, she had already adjusted. She had processed. She had made peace. I was mourning a marriage she had already buried. That was the day I stopped begging for clarity. I stopped asking for reassurance. I stopped trying to match my emotions to her calm, thinking that if I could just be quieter, steadier, more reasonable, she might come back to me. Instead, I started listening to myself. I noticed how her calm never included accountability, how it never came with real change, how it served her comfort while my pain was treated like an inconvenience. I understood then that calm is not always strength. Sometimes it's distance. Sometimes it's detachment. Sometimes it's the quiet of someone who has already decided to leave, even if they haven't packed their bags yet. When we finally separated, she handled it calmly too. Fair terms. Civil conversations. No mess. People praised us for being so mature about it. They didn't see me afterward, sitting alone in an apartment that echoed, learning how to exist without the person I had built my life around. They didn't hear the nights when the calm finally reached me too, not as peace, but as acceptance. It took a long time to understand that her calm during the collapse wasn't kindness. It wasn't grace. It was preparation. She stayed calm because she wasn't losing what I was losing. And I fell apart because I loved something that was already gone. Now, when I think back on it, I no longer wish she had screamed or cried or begged. I no longer wish the ending had been louder. I just wish I had recognized sooner that while everything was falling apart around me, her calm was the sound of letting go.